Okay, so I'm now going to do an explanation of how you mark the story for content and organisation. Okay, so the questions on the previous slide should have just got you thinking a little bit about your understanding of the content and how the story was organised. This is the column on the real mark scheme. Okay, so you can see band 1, band 2, band 3, etc., and it goes up to 24 marks. I have again created a grid to help you to access that. So down this side, we've got all of the success criteria for content and organisation, which I'll go through in a second. Across the top, we've got the bands. So band 1, you can get 1 to 4 marks. Band 2, 5 to 9 marks. Band 3, 10 to 14 marks. Band 4, 15 to 19 marks. And band 5, 20 to 24 marks. Okay then. So, clarity of communication. How clear is meaning in your writing? Now, this is where SPAG errors can affect a story. If a student writes like the best idea for a story ever, but they use not a single full stop, they're going to be limited, but some meaning is conveyed, because it is really hard for a reader to understand the meaning if it's not punctuated accurately. So you could select limited, but some meaning is conveyed, limited but clear, clear but limited in ambition. So that's where everything that they communicate is clear to you, but it's maybe not very ambitious. The student isn't pushing themselves. So some ambition and conveys precise meaning. Ambitious and consistent conveys and consistently conveys precise meaning, that should say. I can't give it band 5 because the communication is hampered slightly by the tense. But I also wouldn't say it's limited in ambition. It's clear. It's not limited ambition. It does show some ambition and conveys precise meaning. So although it has these tense issues, I don't feel that the tense issues really get in the way of me understanding what's happening in the story. And I do think there's ambition because this idea of writing from this interesting perspective is an ambitious thing to do. Okay, so that's what I would go for clarity of communication. So I'm just going to explain the rest of the criteria, and then you're going to do the rest, and then you're going to again find the average mark from where you've highlighted, and you're going to write the C and O, the content and organisation mark you've given down here. So the use of structure and grammatical features. This is considering, are they using structure to actually help the story, help give effects on the reader? So, for example, that sentence creates a certain tone. So the student is thinking about things like that. Structure and grammatical features. So are they punctuating or structuring their sentences differently? Are they using punctuation for effect? Are they using techniques like rhetorical questions for effect? Organisation, shape and structure, the next one down here. This is really it's about paragraphs at a basic level. So if a student hasn't even used paragraphs, they can only get a band 1 there. But it's also about, are they using their paragraphs effectively? And does the story have a shape? Are you being guided towards a certain point? You remember I said at the beginning of the story, mentioned some things that seem irrelevant by the end? It's things like that you want to think about. Is it clear what direction this is going in? Do you guess before the end what's going to happen? Because that's kind of a good thing because it shows the student has foreshadowed to you. Okay, plot, and you can pick there. Basic organisation, possible use of paragraphs. Some organisation, the narrative is beginning to have shape and structure. The writing is organised, it has shape and structure. It's clearly organised with purposeful shape and structure. And then clearly an imaginatively organised narrative is sophisticated and engaging. That would be if they use a structure, maybe with the flash forward at the beginning and came back and controlled it really well, that kind of thing. Plot and characterization. So this is how convincing the plot and the characters. Does the plot make you think what's going on here? Or is it clear to you? Does it go from A to B clearly, or is it jumping around? And then the characters, are the characters convincing? So is there a basic sense of plot and characterization? Some control of plot and characterization. Plot and characterization have some detail and development. They're developed with convincing detail and some originality and imagination, or developed with detail, originality, and imagination. So at the bottom half on the band 1, 2, and 3, you're really looking at whether it's developed. Then when you get to band 3 and you're saying it's all clear and developed, then you're thinking about, is this ambitious, is it original, is it imaginative? Control and clarity of the plot. Again, you want to be able to you want to be able to read it and not think, why have they put that in there? You want it all to make sense from A to B. And you don't want, as a reader, to have loads of questions or to be like, I don't understand why that happened. So is there basic control and coherence, some control and coherence? Coherence means that things you say at the beginning make sense at the end. You couldn't start a story by talking about how much you love your grandma and then end it by hating her. But nothing happened in the middle to make that happen. It's called being congruent with your ideas, being kind of clear and consistent and coherent the whole way through. But coherency also comes from tense. Because if you write in different tenses, you might lose your sense of coherence. So you need to factor that in a little bit as well. Okay, so is it some controlled and coherent, mostly controlled and coherent, clearly controlled and coherent, or fully controlled and coherent? And when you've done that, again, find your average and find the number at the top and work out which number you think you should give it, and then write that in down there. Okay,